You've seen our Trailblazer SS appear in a number of builds here on LSX TV, increasing horsepower via Cook's long tube headers, a Corsa catback, and even installing a nitrous oxide system's LS2 plate kit. However, our drag strip performance was still hampered by poor 60-foots due to the stock torque converter. Without the nitrous, our best 8th mile ET was a 9.0 at 79.97 miles per hour with a disappointing 2.07 60-foot. To help combat this problem, we installed an upgraded torque converter from Yank Performance with the help of Cunningham Motorsports in Lake Elsinore, California. A higher stall torque converter will multiply the torque of your engine to put more power and torque to the tyres. The high stall torque converter will slip the engine into a higher RPM range where there's more torque and horsepower. Yank currently offers 7 torque converters for the Trailblazer, from an entry-level bolting converter to the all-out aggressive 4,000 RPM stall units. We selected the SSTB 3600, featuring a 245mm diameter design that features a very high stall torque ratio, 3,600 RPM, along with a 2.5 STR lightweight billet cover. According to Yank, this converter is designed to give great performance and still maintain great everyday drivability. It'll even work with our nitrous setup. Let's get on to the installation. Cunningham Motorsports is a leading LS tuner of F-bodies and Corvettes, and they did all of the wrenching on our TBSS, installing it in just under half a day. After the Corsa exhaust was removed, we drained the transmission fluid, cleaned out the transmission pan, and replaced the filter. It was a good time to do all this while we were under there. Then it was time to remove the starter to gain access to the bolts that secure the stock converter. Next, we removed the transmission mount and disconnected the wiring harness. Working around the transmission with a swivel socket and long extension, we were able to reach all the transmission mounting bolts and drop it out of the truck, followed by the stock torque converter. Now it was time to install the Yank. Let's take a look at a few things that make their converters so unique. It all starts with a hardened input shaft and turbine splines that come standard. New Torrington bearings are utilised, along with a one-piece flanged impeller hub which gets roller burnished for long seal and bushing life. The front cover is a one-piece billet steel front cover and is custom made by Yank to prevent ballooning under extreme heat, which works with the internal furnace brazed turbines. Our particular model has double-finned drive turbines, adding additional strength for vehicles that need it, like our nitrous-equipped truck. Finally, you'll find an extra wide oversized lockup clutch in the Yank, adding extra strength for our lockup style converter. Now, before reinstalling the converter, we filled it with transmission fluid and repeated the entire installation process. It took about an hour for the Cunningham team to reinstall the transmission, bolts and the wiring. Finally, before we were ready to hit the track, we opted to install a PCM for less direct fit transmission cooler to ensure our higher stall converter wouldn't overheat. We chose the brake duct mount, though they are also offered in a front mount version. The kit is a plug and play affair for the Trailblazer SS, as it comes with all the proper brackets and line lengths. The only modification you need to make is a small cut to allow for clearance in your fender liner, as seen here. Removing the stock airbox will help you gain access to the factory transmission lines so you can mate them to the supplied AN counterparts. PCM says that we should see around a 40-degree drop in transmission temperatures, keeping long life in our drivetrain components. That wrapped up our installation, but we still had to break in the converter. We took a trip to Irwindale Drag Strip to verify our impressions. Our driving impressions showed a massive improvement in seat-of-the-pants feel. The Yank converter allowed us to get into the power range almost immediately, pouring the power into the Nitto 20-inch drag radius. Whereas before we could barely get a hard launch, slamming the throttle with the Yank converter felt like the SS was getting hit from behind by a semi-truck. After a few test runs to find our launch RPM sweet spot, we pulled to the line holding the throttle at 3,000 RPM. We left the starting line hard and dropped 2/10 in 60-foot, running a 1.8 on the way to an 8:42 in 8th mile, an over 6/10 improvement. In the quarter mile, that's close to a full second dropped off our ET from only the Yank torque converter. That wrapped up our installation and test, and needless to say, this is one of the best bang for the buck upgrades we've done so far.